at what it looks like on a Type-A-Knot. What I'm going to do is these two MOs, so that we're stacking the two rings. I think that's a great easy demonstration so that you get an idea of how well the rings stack. We've got the canine bicuspid situation here, which will demonstrate for you how well the ring sticks on the tooth. That is a difficult place for most sectional matrix rings. Some rings on the market, you would be hard pressed to have that ring stay in place between the bicuspid and the premolar, and we'll see here that the Nitin ring hangs in there very nicely. So for these teeth, what I'm going to do is grab two of the bicuspid premolar size bands. Sometimes the bands, because of the way they're shaped, they'll have a tendency to kind of stick together a little bit. So see, that looked like one, it turned out to be three. So dropping them on your tray is a good way to ensure that you've separated those bands so that you're only using one. First of all, save you some money, and second of all, the additional thickness created by having more than one band in place at a time will impede your ability to get a good contact. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that band in and grab another one. Use that little placement tab, slide that band in. Sometimes it's helpful, I'll give you a little tip here, because of the curvature on the band itself. If you try to press it down interproximally, just driving it straight down, sometimes that gingival edge will catch the edge of the prep and cause it to hang up. So if you use a little bit of a curving it around the tooth motion like that, that can really help you place that band without hanging up. So this is pretty wide open, so it's obviously a lot easier for me to do that. I'm going to grab a couple of wedges. You'll find typically that you'll be using either a blue or an orange wedge most of the time. I think that's just the nature of average dentition, that this fits nicely in the interproximal space. Every once in a while you'll need to go to the big green wedge, and then if it's really tight, you'll use that little yellow wedge. So I'm going to see here how the orange wedge fits. It's very beneficial, in fact almost mandatory, to hold a finger on top of the band as you're placing the wedge. Otherwise the wedge will drive the band out. In fact, I'll show you here. See how it displaces that band as I'm inserting the wedge? Put a finger on it. Make sure the band is held down against the gingiva, and then apply your wedge, and it's not going to move. I'm going to do the same here. There we go. Now, the order that you're going to place the rings in is you're going to place the mesial ring first, the short ring first. So the ring placement forceps come with the kit. They're designed to hold those rings very securely. I would not recommend use of a rubber dam clamp forceps. That makes it very difficult to control the ring during placement. And then I'm going to come in and put that right in place. I can come over top of that with the longer ring, just like that. So once you have the rings in place, one of the last steps is take some sort of an instrument like this, come in here, make sure that that matrix band is firmly in contact with the adjacent tooth. I'm not burnishing it aggressively. That will put lines in the band and subsequently lines in your restoration. All you want to do is make sure it's tugged over nice and tight. With the amount of separation generated by these rings, this little tug is all that's necessary to make sure that you get a really tight contact. It's a good idea once everything is in place is maybe take an Explorer or a thin bladed instrument and just look down in there with your mirror and your loops and make sure that the bottom of the box is nicely sealed before you start your etch and bond. So once you have completed the restoration itself, you are going to reverse the steps. Just start off, remove the rings, pull out the wedges, and if the band is in there very tightly, just grab the edges, peel them back, make sure that there's no adhesion of the adhesive to the band, and then either grab it by the tab or get a nice big bite on the side and lift it up and out. So there you have it, the Nitin's sectional matrix system from Reinvent Dental Products.